Hello Virgo, Elsie here to do a reading for you, Virgo. How you doing? I hope you're well. Thank you so much for clicking here. I appreciate you so much. And I am here to do a weekly. We're getting into the weekly readings, Virgo, so I hope you're well. I'm going to do 3 hands. Look, every once in a while I'll do 3 hands, and I haven't done it for a while, so we're going to do specific 3 hands this time. We're going to do career, we're going to do finances, and we're going to do love. I'm going to read love last, and love is where we're going to end up going into the extended. Those readings usually take a little bit longer. So Virgo, how you doing? And yeah, let's get to it. So Virgo, if you are interested in a private read or you are interested in an extended, I'll tell you about that at the end of the reading. So if you want to stick around for that, I'll tell you how to find everything. Tell me about Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. We're going to start out with career. Tell me about career for Virgo. Anytime you get this, today, tomorrow, next year, maybe it doesn't resonate right away. It's a general reading, right? Tell me about Virgo. We are talking about career. Tell me about Virgo. We have the 8 of Swords. We have the 3 of Cups. And we have the 4 of Wands. I feel like right now that there is a decision to be made, and I think you're having a hard time making it. The 8 of Swords is here. There is some sort of decision that I feel that you haven't made yet, because we're not looking at 10 swords, we're looking at 8 swords, and between the 8 and the 10 is 2. It feels like you haven't yet come to the end of a cycle, but it's a confusing, overwhelming thing that you keep thinking about, but you're not acting on. And I think it's because you're not really sure if this is going to be happy or not. Is this going to be a happy move, a good situation? Am I making the right decision? It feels like you're being held back because of overthinking. The 3 of Cups is here, and I feel like the decision you're about to make is going to be one to celebrate. It does feel like celebration will be on the table, but I also feel like it feels like you've had a lot of time in on something here. So it feels like it's you've been at this job for 15 years, or you've been in this certain position for a very long time. It feels like a tenured position, or people really do admire you for the subject matter that you bring to the situation. So it feels like you're the subject matter expert on whatever it is that you do for a living. But people from all around your office will come to you and ask you, as the person who knows the most about whatever it is that's going on in your workplace here. They will ask you the question, even though there might be a superior, like another boss or a vice president or somebody around that they can ask. I feel like you're the person that they ask. I feel it's because you're friendly. I feel like it's because you're a person who is approachable and people like you. But it also feels like it has to do with you being very organized in your thoughts, having a lot of analytics, a lot of experience. It feels like you work really hard and they know it. And so the 8 of Pentacles is here as your energy, saying that you are practical. You're the person who looks at something and doesn't give an immediate answer, but says, you know what, that's worth looking into. I'll look into that for you. The 4 of Wands is telling me that I feel like you are about to make a decision based on the needs of your stability or your happiness or your family. It feels like there is the 3 of Cups telling me that you will be making the right decision, where if it's making a decision, a good one by the family or a good one toward your stability. I feel like you are probably someone who, Virgo right here, is an overthinker, and I've met many a Virgo who work against themselves because they can't get out of their own heads. They keep looking at every complete scenario, but I feel like you're about to move into a different department. Maybe you're looking at leaving the job you've been at for 8 years. We've got pentacles here that are 8 pentacles. And I think that you're having a hard time making a decision about what's going to make me happy. Tell me more about Virgo. We've got Temperance, we've got the 2 of Cups, and we've got the 7 of Pentacles. So I feel like you're in this reassessment phase, but I think you're kind of stuck in this reassessment phase. I feel like you want to move on with your career and deepen your knowledge. It feels like deepen your happiness, deepen your stability. Like it feels like you feel this deep need of deepening something here. With the 2 of Cups, it feels like I've given a lot, and it's time for me to reassess whether I really love it here or whether I can carry on. I feel like you're worried that there's 3 and 2 here, which is 5. You're worried that you're going to make a decision that is not necessarily going to be in your best interest here. Temperance is here. I'm going to say don't worry about making the decision right now if it doesn't feel right. We've got the King of Swords. Look, the King of Swords has every possible piece of information, factual information, pie charts, reports. Like, there isn't really anything that old Eagle Eye here always comes up with a bird on the shoulder. There isn't anything here that old Eagle Eye can't take care of. And so I think you're the Eagle Eye. I think you're the person who overthinks it, because King of Swords is always going to overthink it, whether they are Aquarius, Libra, or Gemini. They're always going to overthink it and take their time. But also, if this is Aquarius, which it is, this is somebody who is moves really slow. It's a fixed sign, right? Aquarius is not going to make a quick decision. It's going to take a very long time, probably longer than the average bear. But I feel like the decision is going to be made eventually. I'm going to say that if you are, what I was going to say before I interrupted myself was, I feel like the moment of alchemy is coming, when everything is going to be balanced for you, a moment of healing and realization that, okay, it's time for me to do this. And it comes through the reassessment process. It feels like you've been waiting to make the decision so you don't make the wrong one. You don't want to end up in regret. 5 cups. You want to love it, and you want to be able to bring value or happiness or deepen your financial stability, or your stability in your, what do I want to say, in your area of expertise. That's what it feels like. Tell me about the 3 of Cups. What do I need to know about the 3 of Cups? Got the Judgment card. Got the 2 of Pentacles. Oh God. Yeah, you're making a really big decision about your happiness. And I think it's going to be really hard for you to go, because I think that you've really built a lot of maybe professional relationships, but I think really relationships that are attached to your heart. That's what it feels like here, that you care for people there. And the Judgment card tells me that it's time to make one of the biggest decisions of your life. It's like an awakening is coming for you about, you could be making a lot more money than you're making now. And the 2 of Pentacles is here to say it's time to get your balance. The universe is saying it's time to get a better balance in your finances. That I think that where you are right now, you're doing too much for being paid too little. Feels like they're taking advantage of all your subject matter expertise, and they're not paying you what you're worth. It feels like you're making a really hard decision. I'm going to caution you to use your intuition, that it's not always what you see, right? It's just because you can see it doesn't really mean you can believe it. Listen to your gut, listen to your intuitive energy, and then go ahead and make the decision. I feel like you will make the decision. Probably, it feels like the next couple days for some of you, maybe the next couple months for others of you. But look, we have all the 2s out. You're making a decision that's close to your heart, one that's really hard. You feel blocked. You feel like, the thing is, we have the 8 and the 2 here now, right? I was talking about that earlier. You're going to release yourself from this position. So you are going. You just haven't made the decision yet because Pentacles showed up. So the Devil is here. You're very attached to the place that you are. But it could be because you like the repetition of it. And you also like to be the person that everybody comes to. It might be a tiny bit of an ego thing, that you like to be the person that everyone comes to for the answer. But I think that you can take your information and resurrect yourself into a brand new situation that will be a good situation for you. All right. Let's find out about your finances. Let's talk about finances for Virgo. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Tell me about finances for Virgo. Oh, I kind of like that. Look at that, the Chariot and the Wheel of Fortune. Something here is about to expand, friend. Yeah, something's about to expand quickly because you've been really disciplined with your money, I think. Tell me more about Virgo. Tell me about Virgo and their finances. We've got the Devil, we've got the King of Pentacles, it's all you think about, and we have the Fool. Oh, you know what, it feels like, going back to the other reading I just did, it feels like the decision that you're making to leave the place of work where you are, or leave this career. You could be going into a career that is going to put you at the top of the food chain. What I mean by that is we saw the 8 of Pentacles, we saw the 7 of Pentacles, and I feel like you are a person who has now gathered enough information that the next place you step into is a major raise. It's a major promotion. It's a major move, because the King of Pentacles doesn't do anything small. It feels like this is a major move in your career, but I feel like you are being dragged down by some sort of doubt or fear, or being stuck to or attached to a comfort zone. What if is, it feels like it's woulda, coulda, shoulda. You don't want to have that at the end of it all. You don't want to have I shoulda or coulda or woulda. It feels like the Fool being here tells me that it's exhilarating and terrifying all at the same time. This is a new chapter for you. I think it's a new financial chapter for you. I'm just going to say, Virgo, I feel like it's a new positive chapter for you. But I think that the obsessive thought that you're trying to deal with, the negative thought pattern, is what if it doesn't work? What if I get there and I hate it, right? Tell me more about this. We've got the Six of Swords. You've already decided in your head that you're moving on. But now it's the preliminaries of trying to detach from where you are. Because I feel like with that Three of Cups showing up in the last hand, that you possibly have built some really good friendships, or people who feel like, that you're related to them, feel like family. Yeah, you're moving on to something huge here. It feels like there is something huge in your future. And it feels like you go from being the associate to being the vice president. Like, it feels like it's a big leap, but I think that you've held yourself back as long as you can. And I think you've held yourself back because there's a little bit of a doubt reel going on in your head. The Six of Swords is here. Look, it's just the way it is in the corporate world. The least work you do, the more you get paid. More responsibility, of course, but you don't have to work as hard. And I feel like you're going to be the person who is going to be making the decisions or growing the empire financially. I feel like you could be someone who's a financial wizard. Maybe you're a person who's like an actuary or an accountant, or somebody who really knows about the analytics of how the money works, or how to build wealth, or maybe that's the new door for you. Maybe that's what you want to do. You want to build your reputation in your career as a person who is the emperor. So I feel like your finance is showing up as the emperor tells me. Your next step out of this old job and into the new one, career, I would say. Jobs don't pay this much, careers do. It feels like it's a significant upgrade in terms of your reputation, in terms of your control. Maybe you're going to be in a controller position. It does feel like it has to do with that. The Six of Swords is here telling me, I think you've already decided you want to go, but you don't know how to let go of the old thing to step forward into the new thing, because you're kind of attached to it. We do have the Nine of Cups. Look, don't give it up, man. I think that if I'm talking to you, I'm not telling you to leave your job, but I'm saying if you're the person that's already, who has been overthinking this, and not moving because you're worried about how it's going to work out, I think it works out in your favor. The Ace of Wands is here. It's a brand new, exciting time for you. With the Nine of Cups here, the wish fulfillment card is here. Alignment. Everything's coming into alignment. If you're a person who is taking the new door because you're going into school, or you're learning something new, maybe you're taking the bar, or whatever it is, I feel like it's successful. If you take the leap, look, the universe, when the Fool comes up, the universe is like, how bad do you want it, Virgo? How bad do you want it? Because you don't know if the net's going to open or not. If you're going to be okay, it's going to be after the leap. So you got to decide how bad you want it. Tell me about the King of Pentacles here. We've got the Queen of Pentacles. We've got the Sun. Okay. Yeah. I feel like it's almost someone who's like, come on, Virgo, why are you working for that company when you could be working for us at the firm? Like, it feels like it's a total upgrade, a total different world. You're going from working, I'm just using this as a metaphor, working in a lumber yard, to working at a place that does, like, builds scaffolding, high buildings, has a company jet. Like, it feels like you're making a really big leap here. So the Queen of Pentacles might be the one who's like, look, I live really well. They pay me really well. They pay for everything. Like, it feels like somebody's trying to convince you, maybe not convince you so much, but the Queen of Pentacles is showing you, look, I live really well. I live pretty cushy. They take care of me. I take care of them, and they take care of me. I feel like this is the person who brings you the breakthrough. The Five of Swords is here. It does feel like, I'm going to say that the reason that you have not made the move just yet could be a fundamental difference. Maybe you don't like what the company stands for. Maybe there's a moral obligation that you have to something that doesn't belong in the company that you'll be moving to. Look, the Emperor is the person who's going to make all the decisions. You could always bring some of that morality, I'm going to say. It does feel like it's a moral issue or something that I don't know if I can agree with that. Like, I don't know if it came down to it, I don't know if I could say, turn my back on that, or turn my back and say, yeah, go ahead, do what you're going to do. It feels like it's a Five of Swords issue for you. It feels like it could be a fundamental difference. So I feel like the Queen of Pentacles is somebody who's probably going to say to you, come on, they want you. It's going to take you to a place that's going to give you the ultimate stability, celebration. We'll be all celebrating it once you take the leap. I feel like it's a really good move for you, but I feel like you're worried about something that is in the Five of Swords, something that you don't know if you can agree on. Maybe it's a contractual thing, but maybe it's a moral thing, a value thing. Yeah, feels like that. All right. Let's talk about love, friend. Let's talk about love for Virgo. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus and Jupiter. Tell me about Virgo in love. Tell me about Virgo in love, please. Tell me about Virgo in love. Got the Nine of Cups. Got the Justice card. We've got the Three of Swords in the reverse. King of Swords, making a decision. Should I give that reciprocity or not? I don't want to be breadcrumbed. Interesting. All right. So we've got the Nine of Cups, we've got the Justice card, and we've got the Three of Swords in the reverse. I feel like you've been working really hard on your happiness or getting your alignment back. It feels like after some sort of maybe a struggle that's been legal or a struggle to get yourself in balance again, that you're finally finding your alignment, or you're living in a life now that is far happier than it used to be. It feels like the Nine of Cups is here because you have built your happiness on your own. I don't think your happiness comes from external validation or people who tell you that you're doing great because, look, you're so hard on yourself, you're not going to believe if they tell you you're great anyway. So I feel like this Justice card is telling me that things are about to come into a place of not only balance, but I think restoration. It feels like your happiness has been restored. And I think it's because your heart is on the mend. We've got the Three of Swords here. It feels like you've been disappointed in love before or had your heart broken. And I feel like you're waiting for your happiness to be restored or something to balance itself out with the Three of Swords here. It feels like you are somebody who has been terribly hurt before. And I just need to make sure that I have the truth, that I have justice, that things have been restored back to their natural balance before I decide what I'm going to do in terms of love as we move forward here. We've got the Knight of Wands. I'm not jumping through hoops. That's what I just feel like when I saw this Knight of Wands. I feel like you don't want to jump through hoops anymore. And what I mean by that is I feel like probably your last relationship, you're probably in a relationship where somebody was trying to tell you what to do, where to be, when to be there. I better get the morning and the night text. You better do this or else. Or somebody who wouldn't explain themselves to you. And you know, you get in those relationships where somebody is not necessarily, they're like, well, you should have known that. And you really didn't know that. That's what it feels like here. So it feels like you're done jumping through hoops. Yeah. It does feel like with the Three of Swords in the reverse, the Sun is here. And I feel like you're about ready to be healed or try and heal. Gosh, all these reverses here. The Knight of Cups, it tells me here that I feel like you are, I'm just going to say it, the Knight of Wands is here, and it feels like you're ready for maybe a little bit of flirting, maybe some passion, maybe a situationship, but I don't know that you're ready to settle down. I don't see anything here that tells me that you're ready to settle down for anything. The Justice card is here. I need things to go my way. This time I'm in charge. I'm in alignment here with myself, and now I need my wish fulfillment. It feels like you're ready to do something daring, or you're ready to take a leap in maybe into the dating pool again. And the Sun in the reverse tells me that you're not really clear on that. Like maybe you've been married for a very long time and now you're back in the dating pool and you're like, I don't even know how to deal with this. I barely gotten out of my heartache and I don't really know. The Sun is in the reverse. I feel like I'm supposed to go there, but I don't really know how I feel about it. So I don't necessarily know that you're looking for the big love story, the big rom-com. I don't think you're looking for that because the Knight of Cups is in the reverse. And when the Knight of Cups is in the reverse, you're being very careful. Being very careful, protecting my heart, moving very slow. It feels like I don't want to get myself into a situation where there's unrequited love, where I end up really liking somebody and they end up not liking me. The Lovers is here. Seven of Swords, somebody lied to you. So I think that in the last relationship that you had somebody who you were very different from, somebody who sang your praises, but then something changed. Got all of these butterflies here. Something changed. And it feels like there was a lie that was exposed here. Someone here is... It feels like there was something that... it feels like children. I'm going to say that there's a really hard situation with children here. There's fighting over the kids. Is what it feels like. The Eight of Wands. You just want it to be over with. It feels like there's fighting over the kids. Somebody's lying to you. Someone's keeping things from you. So I want to say that I feel like as it comes to love, I feel like you're ready to get sort of back on the saddle, I'm going to say, because the Knight of Wands here is riding a horse. You're ready to get back in the saddle, but you're unsure. The Sun is in the reverse. It feels like, when the Sun is here, it's still the Sun. And you still can see the details, but the thing that you can see is the Three of Swords. And I feel like that's the terrifying part. That I feel as though I haven't really had a breakthrough as to whether I want to do this, but I know that I don't want to spend all this time alone because I have a lot of love to give, or I want my life back in alignment as it pertains to a relationship. But it feels like with the Knight of Cups in the reverse, I don't want to get myself back into an unrequited love situation. It almost feels like you're looking at passion and not getting into a relationship. That's why I was saying here with the Knight of Wands in the upright and the Knight of Cups in the reverse that maybe it's a situationship you're looking for. Just no strings attached kind of thing. The Six of Wands is here. We've got the Four of Wands and we've got the Ace of Cups. Yeah. So that's what it feels like here. I already tried this, right? I already tried this. I already had the Four of Wands. I already had the Ace of Cups. But it feels like you want to try again, but I think that you're apprehensive because of the Three of Swords being in the reverse, the Sun being in the reverse, the Knight of Cups being in the reverse. The Four of Wands is I do want it again. I do want to fall in love and have a stable relationship. Six of Wands is like I do love getting the attention. I like all of that stuff, but I think you're a little bit terrified. Seven of Cups is here. You haven't yet made a decision about what's going on because you have to get outside of your comfort zone. Four of Cups in order to find love. And I don't think you want to do that just yet. But we're going to talk about this in the extended. So if you'd like to come to the extended, I'm going to clarify all of this stuff. We haven't even talked about why these things are here the way they are, why they're laying out here this way. If there's something that you want to see and coming to the extended, please check at the top of the comments. There is one pinned comment. Please click on more. You will see that there is a link there for you to come to the membership area where you will get 4 extendeds in a month. If you're interested in just purchasing this one outright, you can do that. Or if you're interested in a private reads are open and they start at $25 and go all the way up from there. $25 reading is back to you within 48 hours. So if you're interested in one question, less than 10 minutes, then head over to Hypsee and check out my packages and check out the prices. So I'm going to go to the extended. If you'd like to be there, you know what to do. I'm going to go for now, but I'll be back because I'm always back. Take care, Virgo. Bye-bye.